Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show is Honorable Minister of Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy, Mr. Bosun Tijani. He will be speaking on communications, innovation, and digital economy under the administration of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you. So let's start from the basics, because when we discuss innovation, technology, digital technology, a lot of Nigerians say it's a mouthful. Many don't even connect with your ministry. They know what it is, but they're not very crystal clear on what your job is. So to start from the beginning, what exactly is your job?
That's a fantastic question, Dolak. I think a great opportunity, of course, to also pitch myself and my role to Nigerians. I think the job is quite straightforward. For everyone listening today, there's probably a connected device somewhere around you. You know, if it's not your phone, it's probably your television, which is connected. Or it's something in your home that connects you to information, connects you to other people. And today we live in a world where these sort of technologies are the bedrock of every economy that you find in the world. There's absolutely no competitive, sustainable economy in the world that does not prioritize the use of digital technologies. As such, for any nation to be able to benefit from the application of modern digital technologies, you have to prioritize the backbone of it, which is telecommunications or communications technology, as some people will call it. But within that as well, is then the ability to be able to build innovative ideas, innovative solutions, whether in public sector or in the private sector, to ensure that this communications backbone can actually add value to society. That's then the innovation side of the work we do. But the bedrock of it all is that when we apply innovatively communications technology to lift our society, then we have an economy that is digitally compliant, and that's the digital economy part of my work. So my role and the role of my ministry is to supervise the activities of that sector, but also come up with policies, interventions, and programs to ensure that Nigeria can continue to develop, but also leapfrog development through the use of digital technologies. I think lastly, for those who may not understand, this ministry used to be called Communications and Digital Economy at the last dispensation. But under the current president, the president thought it through to add innovation to the name of the ministry, just to ensure that we're not just talking about these technologies because they're interesting and fun to talk about, but that we're applying in such a way that it can add value to society, and that's where that innovation side comes in, which I thought was a very smart idea by our president.
Okay. So, yes, the former minister was largely focused on our NIN, our data collection and all of that. Till date, most of us still have issues with the different agencies that, you know, that will still drop data at bio data, UBI, all of that, BVN and all of that. I still hasn't created a neat security for us in the country, because you still drop it every time. What exactly will you now, as minister, do as regards this data Nigerians are dropping along all these requirements that you want? And how do you harmonize it? And how does it create that security that we're looking for, so that we, you know, you can stem kidnapping, curb a lot of other ills that we have?
That's a fantastic question. I'll almost conclude that you're an engineer for putting that question forward, because it's also something that we've been looking at. I think we need to start first by recognizing the progress the last minister, the ministry, but also government made. Because one thing that we've been able to do in Nigeria is to digitally identify our people. So about 90% of adults in Nigeria have now registered through the NIN system, which is a fantastic progress, because you can't develop if you don't know your people. But of course, we've always had the BVN as well, which was also relatively successful because many people registered on it. Now we have a unique opportunity as a nation, as you were saying, to harmonize and bring that together. And what we're looking to do, which we've started already, is through something that is called the digital public infrastructure. Digital public infrastructure is, again, the approach in which a nation harmonizes all its investment under the digital technology era to ensure that when you bring everything together, so one which is important is connectivity. As we ensure that more and more parts of Nigeria are now connected, we have to ensure that that connectivity is now being used for something. So, and to be able to use that, the next thing you need is identity. You have to ensure that everyone can be ID'd, which means when we're connected and when people are transacting and doing business online, that you can identify each person that is doing this. Then the third one, of course, is payments, which again, we've made significant progress around through the Nigerian interbank exchange system. When we put all those three things together, we can unlock and unleash creativity to the level that innovations can come at, at a pace that we've never imagined before. This is something that has been done in India and now is successful because every Indian citizen.
Technology. The irony.
Okay, I think our technology is freezing, so we'll try to go on a quick break. Okay, we lost you for a minute.
Or the data set that we have through BVN, we're bringing all those things together into one. And once we harmonize it, then we can unlock so much opportunity. So it's a major part of this administration and a major project which we've kickstarted.
Okay.
Yes, so your ministry has a lot of goals, many goals. And one of the ones that I feel that is quite ambitious is your plan to train 3 million tech talents in 4 years. And I'm quite curious how you're going to do that. And then apart from that, I also like to find out about, because some of the things I hear amongst people in that ecosystem, in that industry, is that they find it hard to get remote jobs. There are few of them that do get that, but across board, largely many Nigerians are unable to get remote jobs, outside this country. And some of them tied to the perception, the negative perception Nigerians, people have of Nigerians. What is your take on that? And how can you improve job accessibility for our tech talents here in Nigeria?
Again, thank you, Dolapo. That's a fantastic question. I'm not sure, again, if I can share my screen, but I'll say that on TV. Because I have a document that states exactly how we're going to get this done. But to your question, there's a shortage in workforce for technology talents, globally today. There's a shortage in workforce, whether it's in Nigeria or the rest of Africa or all over the world. And what we've seen is that for us to be able to use technology appropriately at the level that we want to use it, you need a decent workforce. If a technology company grows to the point where they need 500 software engineers in Nigeria today, they will struggle to find those 500. And we have a lot of young people that are looking for jobs. And we know with this government, with the mandate that the president is giving to us, even at the ministry and so many other ministries, in the way they have to prioritize technology, we understand that we're not going to be able to accomplish those goals if we don't have the workforce for it. So this is why we've launched the 3 million technical talent program. And we've designed an approach to help us accomplish it. That approach is that if we want to train 3 million technical talents in 4 years, you don't have to go at training all the 3 million at once because of so many challenges, including the one that you've painted. When we train these people, we have to be able to ensure that there's a path to them finding decent jobs, right? So we don't want them to just get trained and they still can't find jobs. And the jobs we're looking for will not just be jobs locally, because we understand that the shortage in workforce is global. We're coming up with arrangements to ensure that some of the things you mentioned are being mitigated and our people can actually find jobs wherever they want to. And this is already happening. It's already happening. In the last 10 years, the growth of Nigerians working remotely, of working for international technology companies, has been phenomenal. And we're seeing more companies that are saying they want to be able to explore opportunity to hire in Nigeria. So our approach is to go by it through a method that we've created, which we call 1 to 10 to 100. And the idea of 1 to 10 to 100 is that if you have a project like this, where the 3 million people you're talking about are individuals, they are real people. So we're not just throwing the numbers around because we want to excite Nigeria, number one. Two is that it's expensive to actually do these things. So you don't want to throw the money away and not be able to train people, but also get them into jobs. So the 1 to 10 to 100 approach will ensure that in the first 3 months, we will focus on 1% of our target. So 1% of 3 million is 30,000, right? And when we break down this 30,000 across all the 36 states, including FCT, you find that it's actually quite realistic to accomplish. As big as Lagos and Kano, As big as they are, we don't need to be training more than 2,500 or 3,000 in the first 3 months. So we've actually launched the call for that first 30,000. And to our surprise, we're already at about 1 million applications in less than 20 days, right?
Okay.
So there's excitement that people all over the country are interested in this technical talent. But when we deliver that 30,000 in the first 3 months, as we continue to deliver, we're going to learn a lot as to how we ensure that the quality of the training that our people are receiving is where it should be.
Right.
And if they receive the right quality, which means they become attractive to employers, we then need to ensure that we can create more bridges and opportunity for them to get employed, including new jobs. So the idea is not to go after existing jobs, create new jobs that doesn't exist in the country through partnerships, right, with organizations globally. And as we learn from that 30,000, we will then, by February next year, be moving into 10%, which is the 1 to 10. We move into 10% of our target, which is 300,000. The lessons that we've learned with the 30,000 will help us to rejig and ensure that we're not throwing money away. Then we'll do the 300,000 in about 18 months. Whatever we learn from that will teach us how to do this at scale, which means we can then aim to reach the 3 million target that we have. But in the time being, everyone that's applied for this program, just to wrap this up, everyone that's applied for this program will actually get the opportunity to be onboarded on a platform, and they will start to learn digitally. They may not be part of the first cohort of 30,000, but there's something they're going to be learned while they wait for their turn.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with you. Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Tokwe. Tokwe, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so, Minister, my question is, yours is an appointment that I was really looking forward to seeing how you're going to revolutionize Nigeria. And I want to ask you concerning innovation. So we've spoken extensively about deploying tech, getting jobs for Nigerians, but I feel that in solving local problems, we need local solutions. And I would like you to tell us what have you explored so far in using innovative technology to tighten the security challenges we're facing as a country, like to tighten the gaps that we're having with security challenges within our country, financial insecurity as well as the actual insecurity. Are you looking towards that side at all, or are you focusing your innovation towards job creation only?
Thank you, Tokwe. My mandate is broader than just job creation. As explained, you can't apply technology deeply if you don't have the workforce, hence the strong focus on job creation. In terms of innovation for society, I won't be able to go too deep into conversations around innovation and security on TV, right? But there's a ton of things that are happening there through our security operatives and Ministry of Defense as well. But beyond that, there's something we've created. If you look at our strategic blueprint, there's a document that we released probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, which explained succinctly at the very top level the activities that we intend to carry out. So it's a strategic blueprint for how the ministry is looking at deepening the application of technology for technical efficiency in the country over the next 4 years. And there's a part of it that is focused on, there are 2 parts of we have 5 pillars. You know, the first one is knowledge, which is what we've been talking about, creating know-how for the pool of workforce. The second one is policy, which is reimagining policy as a means of allowing creativity to thrive in the country, but also allowing those who want to innovate with technology to be able to help us innovate with technology without stifling the process, right? Without using policy to stifle the process. The third one is what we call infrastructure, which is deepening the state of our infrastructure, because we understand that, you know, we cannot, again, ride on digital technologies if we don't have the backbone, which is connectivity, broadband, the satellite that we have, ensuring that it's efficient. The third one is what we call the innovation, entrepreneurship, and capital. And this is where we hope that we can inspire and get more people building innovative solutions for the country. And the last one is trade, that even as they build for Nigeria, they sell to the rest of Africa. So specifically to your question, the bit that is focused on ensuring that we can see more innovation in different aspects of society is in policy, which is using policy to open up more opportunities. So over the next 4 years, you will see more entrepreneurs and inventors building in agriculture, for instance. You're going to see more people building in agriculture. You're going to see more in the security area that you've mentioned. You will see more in financial services, which is an area that we've been doing really well. You're going to see more people building in public health as well, using technology to ensure that people can have access to good quality healthcare delivery. In fact, part of our agency is working. There's a budget that we're dedicating to that program, where we want to drive the adoption of telemedicine, so that wherever you are in the country, you can have access to basic health service, via connecting with doctors online. Then also you're going to see more innovation in things like transportation, smart city, and all of that. And to be specific, you also notice that a program was launched last week. Not launched, a part of it was signed last week, something called the IDICE, right? IDICE is actually focused on ensuring that there's a pool of capital locally that we can use to support innovators who want to build groundbreaking ideas to significant problems in society. So typically these people will have to rely on funding from abroad, but what we're doing is ensuring that we have our skin in the game locally, that there's some basic funding that can be there. So this program is around almost $600 million, the first batch that we're actually putting. And over the next 4 years, we're going to ensure that there's more patient capital for those who want to build innovative ideas. As you know, my background is from the startup space, and all we do is constantly looking for ways for people to build solutions to problems. And this is going to be the core of course, my ministry under my leadership.
All right, let me ask you a question that many Nigerians are probably wondering, because a lot of see you as an outsider coming into government. They see you as somebody who is young, fresh, and they feel that you're one of them. And many see you as, this was quite critical of government. In your view, working in the executive, what are your how would you speak to Nigerians on the plans of this administration to make lives better? Because Nigerians, until they see, I was saying it last week, until they see giveaways, like, oh, you're giving free jobs to million people, or you're just giving out money to business owners, they don't feel like government is doing anything. But there's a lot of back work going on, which we can see, which we're going to see the results in future. But many still need a lot of buying of support from Nigerians. So as an outsider in, what would you say, how would you sell this administration to Nigerians who are totally cynical and skeptical about their plans?
Well, it's understandable. I think it's not just Nigerians. I think the public or populace is generally always cynical about what the government is up to. Even in the West, this is expected. But I think my mandate, as like you've described me, someone coming from outside in, is to communicate better. I think we can do a great job of bridging the gap between government and citizens by communicating better. Because my experience has been, and I think I'm extremely fortunate to be serving under a president that is very pro-business, that cares. All our engagement has always been about what can we do. Even in the cabinet, is constantly pushing. It's about ensuring that we can produce and provide opportunity for better quality of life for our people. That's all is constantly talking about. And it's pushing the cabinet hard to ensure that the focus is on this. So it is our responsibility to ensure that as we do this work tirelessly, that we're also communicating with people. Because like you said, when people don't see something concrete immediately, by the second week in office, people were already asking me questions. But the reality is that it takes proper planning. So I have to stick to my approach, release the blueprint, communicate it thoroughly. And as we started releasing programs and projects and people started seeing the opportunities that will be there for them, you can see that the citizens are warming up. It's a lot of work, because to be a minister is not a joke. It's actually hard work. But at the same time, you also have the responsibility to ensure that you're connecting with the people, communicating your plans to them. And I think people are not really crazy. They want a better life. They are impatient. But I think the more we communicate, the more we bridge that gap, and we can get at least some reasonable people on our side to see that this is a government that means business. You can see that in less than 6 months of this administration, a lot is happening, a lot of difficult decisions that must be taken for us to actually have the life that we all desire, the country that we all desire. That's what this administration has been all about. I personally, because of my profile, you will see that I will communicate a lot. I've already been doing this, and I don't intend to stop. I've released, for instance, I release my week in review at the end of every week on Saturday. I release a document showing what I've been up to in the week. Again, it's a way of keeping myself accountable, but also ensuring that the citizens actually understand that I'm doing the work the president is giving me to do. Yeah.
We see those weekly updates, and we're always looking forward to them. But you were recently at the AI Safety Summit, and now this brings me to the real cocoa question for Nigerians. Here we are trying to grapple with regulation of social media as it affects politics, governance, parenting, and then we're now talking about AI. AI that we heard is, you know, it's all sort of sinister stories about it. And like we haven't even finished understanding what we have right now, and we're now talking about AI. Please, could you enlighten us, Nigerians? How would being involved in AI, even at this point, benefit Nigerians?
It's a great question, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to this. So when people step back, and part of our intention is to actually enlighten Nigerians about what artificial intelligence is all about, because that's the starting point. If you have a good understanding of what artificial intelligence is all about and what is driving it, then you will understand that it's not something that we can leave for later. I always say most of the challenges we face in Nigeria and most African countries are wicked problems. They're wicked problems because they tend to occupy us. So when you talk about poverty, need to improve education, they occupy us. And as we're trying to address this problem, the requirement for fixing these problems, they continue to change. So if I give you an example, in education, 10, 15 years ago, what we needed to make education better was build more schools, train and hire more teachers. In the world that we live in today, it's not about how many more classrooms you build, because the way in which people want to learn is already changing. The future of work is changing. The kind of work that is required is changing. So for us to actually fix education, we need to be using intelligence. And the kind of intelligence that we need to use needs to dial into what the workplace is requiring today and how young people want to learn. Most young people today are used to technology. They learn on the go. They learn in really exciting ways. They don't want to learn being forced to learn, right? That is changing. And this is where artificial intelligence comes into place. Artificial intelligence is simply saying that we've developed technology to a point where it can collect a lot of data and aggregate the data and process the data and turn them into insight. And this insight in some cases can make machines do things that humans cannot do. So as people, we don't have a choice but to get on board, because if we're going to reduce poverty, we need to be able to aggregate data on our people, on our nation. If we're talking about agriculture, we need to be able to use insight to grow things better, right? So it is extremely important. And the danger of not being part of the AI movement is that it is developing so fast. For those who follow development in AI, I think generative AI made it a lot more clear to us. For those who know what generative AI is, where today, to write a speech, you actually may not require your secretary or your speech writer. Generative AI will do a better job than these people, and even edit later, but generative AI will do a better job. So the development in artificial intelligence is moving so fast, and it doesn't matter whether you're a country in Africa, or you're a rich country, or a poor country, or a it doesn't matter. It's going to affect all of us. So if we don't participate in it now and engage in how it is governed, we can wake up in 6 months' time and people are using it to compromise our nation. So as government, it is our responsibility to ensure that we're being part of that movement, that we're being part of the conversation, we're being part of the governance, so that we can protect our people and our economy from the vice.
All right, let me go on a short break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.